Chat. Class. All right. Join audio. All right. Good morning. How are we?
Doing good, and yourself, sir?
Doing fantastic, fantastic. So we'll get started here in just a couple minutes, but I put something in the chat for everyone to check out on 25 different listing activities and strategies that we can go over today. So if you have a chance, if you're able to, hey, Robin, if you have a chance, turn on your video and let's definitely participate today, because I'd love to get your feedback on this. And as we jump in, there you are. As we jump in, we'll have some great ahas that will come out of this today. So Mark Mays, I love your background. Gotta love the cabana and a little warm weather there, huh? And Seamus, I heard we're having fun with all kinds of fantastic music going on in your house.
Nice.
Yes, it's so much fun, let me tell you.
I'm here to support, Seamus, anything we can do today. Awesome. All right, so kind of what the outline was of today is to go over a couple things, right? Like traditionally, we talk about seasonality in our industry. The fourth quarter and the holiday season is typically regarded as what? What would you regard it as? Is it the hot time? Is it the slow time? What do you think?
It's probably a slow time.
Okay, Mark,
Especially
why would
November,
you say
December.
that? So one of the things we're going to start with today, and it's 12 o'clock, so we'll get started. Jamie Goldman, good to see you. Is let's start with limiting beliefs, right? And so that's why I opened that up. Hey, Jamie, that's why I opened that up with, what is our perception? Because it's got to start with us first. And then what our perception is will then be extended out to our clients, our friends, our database, our Mets, our unmets, business to business relationships. So what other limiting beliefs do you believe are out there right now around, maybe it's the holiday season, maybe it's 2020 holiday season, right? So what would be some different limiting beliefs you think are out there right now?
So I would say people are hunkered down due to COVID.
Absolutely, Mark. What's another one?
I think people are afraid, and also just finding out we can't do any more open houses, puts a limit on how we can reach out to people.
Right. So not only are they afraid and there's some fear going on, but it also limits the activities, right? Absolutely. What's another one? That's great, Robin. So we're going over limiting beliefs right now. What would you say a limiting belief would be?
Uncertainties.
Say that again, Adriana?
I couldn't mention it well. It's a fear, uncertainty. So
Uncertainty.
create more uncertainty. When people doesn't know exactly what they do or what is going on in the next 30, 60 days after elections, people are kind of skeptical and cautious.
Right, right, absolutely. And they are, right? We're seeing it all the way across. Just jump on Facebook. Be careful, because there's a lot of opinions going on out there right now on Facebook, but jump on that and you'll see it all over the place, right? Go in your grocery store, you'll see it. So the question is, if we're feeling that, who else is feeling that, right? So uncertainty, that's great. What's another one? Limiting beliefs. That's where we're starting. Jamie, go for it.
So I could probably sell my house, but there's nothing for me to buy.
Okay, low inventory, right? And maybe not even low, maybe just non-existent.
And even if they can find a house that they're interested in, usually they're up against so many multiple offers that it just gets a little hairy. They don't want to get involved right now.
Yeah, you're so right. So why put the offer in if we're just going to lose, right? I mean, that's kind of what some of our clients are thinking right now.
I have to tell you guys, I met some folks last weekend who were trying to buy a house. Hopefully we can help them. But in their price range, they put two offers on, lost both houses. One was 50,000 over, one was 100,000 over, and they lost both houses.
Whoa.
And I was pretty much floored. I hadn't heard of that kind of extreme situation.
Well, and my question around that is, in the event we're padding it that much, are we looking out for the clients? Are the clients getting the best counsel they could possibly get? Because when are they possibly going to get the return on that? 10 years, 15 years, right? I mean, is this their forever home, or is this their move up home? Because they could put themselves in, and this is something just to take note of, right? Like if we're putting in an offer and we're covering the gap between appraisal and purchase price, where the clients are, right? We're not, hopefully. And, you know, really when we look at that, we say, okay, how are they going to be able to resell the home? Or is it going to put them into a short sale scenario if life happens and they have to turn around and sell, right? I mean, because short sale, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing short about a short sale at all. Short sales are average 5 to 7 to 9 months, multiple buyers, increased, I call it the DFT, default risk. So it's increased default risk. The sellers, it's a completely emotional roller coaster with them. So if we can avoid putting them in that situation, it will make your referrals exponentially increase. So Robin, thank you for that. That's great. So we got slow season, hunkered down, fear and being afraid with uncertainty, low inventory or non-existent, and multiple offer situations. What's another limiting belief that's out there right now?
I'd say financial hardships, and then elaborating with what Mark said about hunkering down. I feel like people are afraid to transition into something new.
Yeah, Joshua, absolutely. So financial hardships and fear of transition, right? Love that. What's one more? One more limiting belief.
Nobody likes to buy this time of year. They're on vacation mode, except we can't vacation.
Right.
You can't go anywhere.
But we got all these amazing screen backgrounds, right? We can go anywhere. Right, no one wants to buy this time of year, right? Okay.
I would say this, regardless of which way you lean, the election, the tumultuous nature of it right now is a factor.
Right. So election turmoil, right?
Yes,
and that
sir.
could have both a short-term and a long-term effect, couldn't it?
Agreed.
Depending on how that individual is receiving all the information coming in.
Yeah.
So short-term and long-term, right?
Hey, it feels a lot like, I mean, even for me, it just, what's what's the, you can't, how can you plan to move forward with so many unknowns, I guess, in the future?
Right, right.
So why plan or look ahead or take a step anyway? Because it's so crazy and out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's perfect. Okay. When the craziness. Because it is kind of crazy out there, isn't it? I mean, let's just be real. We're all in this together. It's kind of crazy. I'll be the first one to say that. It's a little wild out there, for sure. You never know what your conversation's going to be to the next person that's 6 feet apart from you in the grocery line, if you're not ordering on Amazon because you don't want to go into the grocery store, right? Yeah, I mean, literally, you can go just about anywhere right now. And even if you're out in a park and let's say there's no one within 20 miles and you come across one person and there's no mask being worn, what happens? Everyone's like this, right? There's a little bit of fear. And it's because we don't know and we don't have direct answers for. So the key around this is, and kind of what I want you to take from today, my goal was we're going to go over a list that I created that is for the 25 days of Christmas. And it's 25 different listing activities and strategies you can use. Now, my goal is to give you a list of 25 so you can pull the top 5 to 10 priorities that really going to fit best in your world. And you can tweak them, you can do what you like, but this gives us at least a little bit of an angle here because we get to make a decision and we get to make a decision today. Are we going to let the fears and the negativities and everything else that's out there right now impact how we, one, end the year and two, begin the year? Are we going to let those things impact whether or not we are able to help a family in need? Because that's really what we're talking about here. And maybe save someone from having a financial stress, right? So my goal again would be pick the top 10 reasons, pick the top 5 to 10 activities and run with those. And then as a group, we can all collectively come together and say, hey, this is what I feel is working. What is working with you? And that can be here in Denver. That could be outside markets. If we're traveling over the holidays, that could be something like that. Adriana in Vegas, that could be something you could use there while you're transitioning into Denver. So the number one thing we have to start with every single time is up here. It's going to be our mindset, right? Because there's everything that's out there right now that's trying to pull us away from that, first and foremost. So really, when you're looking at this, what would building out a listing inventory do for you? What would it do for your business? What would it create for your family? What opportunities could this create? We've shared as a group, as a family, we've shared different successes, we've shared different hardships, we've shared all kinds of things, and life continually shows up, right? We have no control over life. Life shows up. So the key is, how do we take everything that's coming in and then come up with strategies around it? So the number one thing really here is what is, and Doug, you're gonna love this because we got to start here. What is your big why and what is your unique selling proposition? What is your USP? What defines you in the customer service, the customer experience you provide? If you could make a top 3 list on what separates you from 21,000 other realtors that are in the Denver metro area, what would that look like? And if you don't know, ask your raving fans, right? Hey, I got a quick question for you. You know, we've worked together several times. In fact, I've even helped some of your family members. Quick question, why do you keep coming back to me? What is it, right? From that, from testimonials that come in from others, you can create a unique selling proposition, which then you bridge with your big why.
Or I need to turn mine up because I can't hear.
So when we start on this, right, how do you create a life-altering experience that's emotional, that's business-focused, and combination? What do you need to do to create a life-altering experience for your raving fans, for your database, for your clients, for past clients even, right? So when you look at this, the very first thing is creating urgency. Number one around this and taking listings during the holiday is creating urgency. There's several different ways you can approach this. We know that this year, more than years in the past, is extremely emotionally charged. Now we can take that information and we can say, gosh, you know what? It's too emotionally charged. I'm not going to pick this thing up because I'll be bothering them. Yet the counter to that would be they're longing for our phone calls. They're longing for community, especially right now, especially with everything going on and this new wave coming out, which some of us had a pretty good feeling this was going to happen, right? Even though we hoped it wouldn't. Yet here we are. So the very first piece is creating urgency. Why is it important for someone to list their home or sign a listing agreement with you in the month of December? What would be positives that come out of that, right? One of them, first and foremost, would be what Jamie had mentioned. Either there's really low inventory or it is non-existent. The other key piece around that is most consumers that are out there right now don't realize that the holiday season is actually the #1 staging season of the entire year. And you can have some fun with that. And we'll talk about that, whether it's Christmas lights or how you want to stage the interior of the home, what that looks like. But it gives that warm, fuzzy feeling that everyone is dying for right now. And then I say that really lightly. I didn't even realize I said that before I said it. So what I mean, though, is that everyone really is longing for an emotional experience, right? Truly. The second one is going to be creating your own personal market. So for example, if you're to take the niche neighborhood that either you're currently in as a neighborhood expert or one that you would like to be in as a neighborhood expert, what style of home is selling the quickest? Is it a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom? Is it 3-car garage, 2-car garage? Big lots, small lots. What does that look like? Once we know that, we can know what the demand is, right? Because if supply is down and demand is up, and we can formulate how to be the neighborhood expert around this, we can target those who are looking for 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 3-car garages. Or it could be something completely different than that. It's up to you, and it's your neighborhood to be able to dive into to look at. So use the MLS, use command, different pieces that you can run off. That goes with floor plans. Is it a ranch style home versus a split? Is it a multi-level home, right? Maybe it's having the laundry, which was always popular when we were selling, was having the laundry on one level. So the family didn't have to go up and down the stairs constantly, right? So what does that look like? It is a hillside ranch. Have you identified what is in high demand and selling quickly, and what's the price point around that? You know, we're blessed in Highlands Ranch to be at a price point of, on average, close to $500,000. That's not like every market. I know in Vegas, that's not the same market. So being that, what is your price point that moves the fastest? So that would be number 2. Demographics. Be careful with this. Just know that this is something that is going to cause migration patterns, right? So who is looking, take it for example, if someone is not able, let's say they're at an age where they're not able to take care of their home anymore. Now the family has to get involved. We've all been in those situations, right? Those emotions go on high during the holidays. All of these things, when you define community, get elevated when you're in the holiday season. That's why for some, the holidays are the best times of the year, and for others, it's a pretty challenging time of year. So know your audience within that. And if we're going to go kind of quickly today, so if there's anything you want me to slow down on or backtrack to, let me know, jump right in, okay? So you have total permission with that. The other thing is going to be, we talked about high turnover in the neighborhoods, targeting demographics, job specific. Which companies are coming into our market? Which companies are leaving our market? Think of your business as the relocation center. So not just being the center of the network or the neighborhood expert, what does this look like when you're the relocation expert? The fourth quarter is traditionally the #1 time that executive buyers are coming into Denver, or they're looking at opportunities outside of Denver. Do we know what opportunities they're looking at, and who can we contact to find out? This will tie into a business-to-business conversation as well. So it's taking what we're talking about today and taking it one step further, if it's something that kind of flows with your unique selling proposition. So this ties into business-to-business opportunities.
Patrick, one of the,
Absolutely, Holly.
one of the things I was gonna say is we've got people shifting to working from home, and some companies are shifting to that permanently.
Right.
And so there's a lot of people that, and I'm seeing a migration from downtown to suburbs and suburbs to out. And they're almost skipping price points because they're not spending money other places and they want a bigger house. They need that, they need the space for more than one office. They need school space, kids to do at-home school is needed. They're not as concerned about being close to all the amenities because the amenities aren't open, and the lifestyle is just different. And I think even though there's vaccines coming, I think there's a lot of people that still see this as not a change. It is not changing necessarily in the real near future. And I think there's companies that are like, we've been spending all this money on real estate that we don't, and people are functional from home.
Absolutely.
They may not want to be in an office.
So, and I was actually meeting and talking with the #1 team from Compass yesterday. And the point I'm mentioning this is because their primary is downtown Denver, yet they've noticed the exact same thing. There's pressure now being put on Franktown, on Elizabeth, on Southern Parker, on Sedalia, parts of Castle Rock, because they're able to now, it goes into the questions, what can I control? What can I not control, right? I can control my own land to a point. At least I can control whether or not in the space that I have, what I can do with that space with my family. If I move to an area, kind of back in your point on this, Holly, if I move to an area like Wash Park, nothing wrong with Wash Park, love it, love it, love it. Yet why do most live in Wash Park, the community of Wash Park, the feel of Wash Park, to walk around the lake, to do those pieces, right? Still have access. Well, if now you can't walk around the lake or there's fear around that, all of a sudden the top 10 reasons they move there start to disappear. So one strategy around that, and tying into this a little bit, one strategy around that is, who do we have that's moved into either lower maintenance, location specific, Wash Park, downtown Denver, something like that, right? Who we can call and say, hey, I just quick question, how are you guys doing? I know one of the #1 reasons you went to Wash Park was so that you could walk your dog around the lake, and now you may or not be able to. Are you okay with that, or do we need to start looking at other properties? Here's our top 10 list of Parker Sedalia properties with land. Do we have something like that? That's a fantastic strategy, by the way. So if we have a top 10 list, a best buy list on properties with land, right? With space. So thank you for that, Holly. So now looking at business to business opportunities, especially right now, it's a month of November, it's appreciation. Are we reaching out to those who are having conversations at a very deep level with their clients? For example, financial advisors right now, right? They're going over their 2020 and they're forecasting into 2021. Are we talking to them about what this looks like from a realtor perspective and what the real estate market is looking like? Another one would be attorneys, right? Now, when we start looking at attorneys, I dive into this a little bit later in the presentation, but it could be divorce. Here's the deal. There's a baby boom that happened, right? Trust me, I'm part of it. There's a baby boom that happened during COVID. There's a divorce rate that happened during COVID, right? Unfortunately, there's lives that were lost during COVID. So there's estate conversations. There's those who were laid off or they're furloughed and they weren't able to make their mortgage, right? So there's tax lien conversations going on. So are we reaching out to specific attorneys, whether it's estate planning, it's tax lien, it's divorce, it's life change, right? Something along those lines. So those could be incredible opportunities for you. Do we have an accountant that we can reach out to? I know that, Jake's dad, Jerome, is a CPA. Be a great resource as well. Here's the reason why I bring up accountants. One is because of 1031 exchanges. So if they're looking at going from one investment property and purchasing another investment property, they're on a finite timeline that they have to do this by, or they pay capital gains. So believe me, the motivation is extremely high. So are we asking a very direct question around that? When we look at stagers and staging, what are they seeing out there right now? This is the time when we take affiliates that are part of our industry and we lock arms with them and say, this is what we're seeing, what are you seeing? There's one person that you could introduce me to today, who would that be? And oh, by the way, who would you like to meet? Right? So it's this win-win across the board. When we look at out-of-state agent referral relationships, this is huge right now because other states are having lockdowns, or there's partial, or there's something going on, right? Look around us. The only state that I know of right now, and I could be wrong on this, the only state that I know of right now that doesn't have a mask mandate is Arizona. And that will probably be changing pretty quickly here.
South Dakota.
South Dakota, right. So who do we know in these other areas that are getting heavily impacted, and to create agent-to-agent referral relationships? You can do this through Command, you can do this through all kinds of different platforms. But are we specific about this? If we can narrow down the migration patterns of those coming and going from Denver, right? If they have to leave state, typically you find that the Midwest feeds the Midwest, right? Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Louis, Kansas City. You also find other areas like Florida, right? You're going to have Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, Miami. You're going to have other areas on the other side, California, right? Regardless of our opinion about California right now, which believe me, we all have a lot of opinions. Regardless, they're moving out of the state. So if they're moving out of the state and they're coming here, are you the go-to person? How do you become that person? So, and by the way, you can be agent-to-agent referrals from your basement. It doesn't matter where you're at. And talk about creating a massive opportunity. The relationships that you've nurtured and created this year specifically will be the ones that could carry for generations. The ones that you've chosen not to, because it is a choice, and that's okay. When you've chosen not to, realistically, someone else has jumped into that circle, right? So look at the relationships you have and who are the top 5 referral sources for agent-to-agent referrals that you have going across the country. You'd be amazed on what opportunities are there. So that would be another one, right? If you're looking for leverage pieces to pull neighborhood data to Mojo, Vulcan 7, or another platform along those lines, there are several different virtual assistant and ISA platforms that are out there right now. Now, the virtual assistant is not the same person it was years ago where they were in the Philippines on a different time zone with an accent. This could be someone who is in Illinois and they're just looking for some extra change in the pocket, right? Yet they could pull all the neighborhood data for you. That would be an incredible opportunity also to dovetail that into reaching out to your database. Who do they know that we need to know? Hey guys, I got this awesome, incredible opportunity in front of us to help more families specifically in the 4th quarter of 2020 than ever before. My question is, I'm looking for someone who's a rock star regarding leverage that can pull neighborhood data. Who do you know that I need to know? And that's a conversation I would have with my database first, because I'm doing 2 touches within that. It's subconsciously, what is that telling my database? If I'm asking for help, what is that telling my database?
That I'm busy.
I'm jamming, right, Doug? I'm rocking and rolling. So I need your help, right? Law of reciprocity. We help them, they will help us. We just got to ask. So senior care and senior care and senior living facilities, right? Do we have relationships? It's a pretty stressful time on that side. And I see Deb jumped on here. So Deb, you on audio? She maybe not. But for the, okay, so Debbie, tell me a little bit. Senior care and senior living facilities is a little bit stressful there, isn't it?
Yep,
Why?
you can't get in and they can't get out. People are dying of loneliness in there.
That is happening across the country, gang. Like, for real. So that could be an opportunity to help out, right? If they need to sell grandma's house, if something goes on along those lines, maybe it's something you could do for the family while grandma's in the senior living. Or grandpa, however that looks, uncle, aunt, whatever. It's an emotional perspective and direction around that. And the bottom line is it's not salesy at all. You're coming in with gratitude and a way to help.
Well, and Patrick, we even have Mark's parents live in El Paso and they're almost 90. And El Paso is a just scary hotbed. And they're actually in New Mexico, and both his sisters, one sister's within like 2 miles, but she's in Texas. And they keep having all these rules about borders and they are afraid to leave their own house. So they don't even have to be in a facility to be isolated and alone. So it might be that they need to just move closer.
And we're actually finding that it's not just job relocations that are happening right now. Folks are moving closer to family for support. That's what we're seeing. And I'm seeing that talking to other leaders across the country right now. So it's get real, get right. What I mean by get real, get right is getting right around why we're doing this in the first place, right?
So
We
I
have
had
to.
a recent one, Patrick, in the senior space. Now we're echoing. Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead and type that into the chat if you would, Mark.
Yeah, Patrick, so if the senior facilities are locking down, can't get in, can't get out, how do we access that? What are you thinking with this idea?
So one thing that worked really well for us, especially during the holiday season, was talking to a company like Senior Living that does home care. They go into the homes and take care. So which companies do we have here in Denver, here in Colorado, where they specialize in that, right? Typically what happens too is that it's either in-home care is the first step that then turns into senior living, like full-time senior living at a facility. It also
right now they can't get in. They can't even take them in.
Right. So keep an eye on that then, because that's an opportunity for companies to come in and do, in-home care. That's what we had and they were incredible on referrals. And you have to be authentic, right? And let them know you're going in for the right reasons and you have a plan. A family wants a plan more than ever because there's so much uncertainty that's going on out there.
Yep.
Another one, especially, in this market right now is, if you were to look at different apartment complexes.
Sorry, Patrick, we're having mute battles over here. The only other thing I was going to say about seniors is a lot of times when you're dealing in that space, they're looking to you to have a list of providers to go along with it, whether it's state liquidation, whether it's haul off services, whether it's move specialists, powers of attorney. If you have a list and you can be value add to those clients, that it's very helpful. And we've been pretty active in that space because we're SRES because we're old people. So we get in that space easier. But at the end of the day, they're looking for more than just a real estate
And
contact.
they're looking for SRES.
Yep.
Yep.
They are.
They are looking.
100%. Well, and here's the thing, is that part of our pre-listing packet? Do we have a pre-listing packet? If we don't, there's an incredible opportunity to create one. When we look at, local apartment complexes, who's doing short-term leases? What do those leases look like? And what is the buyout on those leases? So are there 3 months, 6 months? If someone's doing a 3 or 6 month, it's because they're hanging their hat to get to know the area and they're buying in the area. I used to run a leasing team in Tampa. Like that was one thing that we always looked at. We partnered with a builder and local realtors in Tampa because we had 3 and 6 month leases and 9 month leases. What we knew is that they were either building a home or buying a home. Something was happening. So which apartment complexes in our local area offer that? Do they offer that? And if they don't, they know who does. Another one, VRBOs and vacation homes.
Wait a second. So can you give some like clues or examples of where we would reach out?
100%. There's an apartment complex that's building within a football throw of our office. I would start there. And then I'd branch out to other ones that are building in our area or they're local. So if I was to put apartment complexes, Highlands Ranch, apartment complexes, Denver, Castle Rock, Parker, right? Or I type in 3 month leases, 6 month leases, Denver. That's going to give us a really quick list. And here's the best part. If they say they only do 12 to 14 month leases, they know who does short-term leases. They refer them over to them. So I would get to know leasing agents, leasing managers, let them know you're not competition. You're in this as together as one industry, right? Because for a leasing agent, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk to a realtor. I'll tell you, and I just really quickly, when I ran the leasing team in Tampa, one of the concerns was actually talking to realtors because they'd come in with their, collars popped, trying to take over the show. Don't do that. Go in there with a handshake and sincerity and empathy around how you can help them, they can help you. Goes like this. Right now is law of reciprocity, 100%. So I would start with that, Robin. Another one, VRBOs and vacation homes. Here's the deal, gang. You live in a state that has VRBOs and vacation homes, right? Some of the colleges right now that are not having students go back to them, or they're limited attendance and they're running into issues in the dorms, there's vacant properties around the complexes now, around the universities now, or colleges now. So are we paying attention to that? If it's a VRBO, know that right now, I mean, if Amber was on this call, I kind of hijacked, I'm Amber today, so I hijacked her computer. And she would tell you, right? Her Thanksgiving plans had to change because the VRBO got canceled. When we talk about fear that's happening and those who go into investment properties, they go in for a cash flow perspective. Most of these VRBOs don't have their homes paid off in full. They're still making payments. And they may have used the forbearance on their primary. So now they're trying to float the secondary, right? You have an opportunity to save them from going into a short sale scenario or being in default. No one likes that. So think about pieces like that, right? The vacation and tourism industry has taken a beating this year. You are a shining light. It's all based around the conversations that you have. The next one around this would be the source, the number one source for investors, right? And that means they're going to be looking for public record information, right? A lot of investors are going to look at tax lien information, who's behind on it, if it's a public record. Do we have that information? What are the top 10 properties they can invest in Denver, where in Denver and why? right? Or maybe it's areas in Denver. But be the source for investors. This will be a huge market that's going to be coming out in 2021. And if it's not here in Denver, here's the deal, gang. Our investors in Denver are looking at price points and figuring out what their ROI is, right? So they may be looking at places like Las Vegas, like Phoenix, like South Florida, like Arizona. The same challenges we're having here and the opportunities we're having here, other markets are too, which ties in why agent-to-agent referrals are so important. So be the source for your investors. Don't let them go anywhere else. Let's see here. Come up with a list on why now is the best time to buy. Why is now the best time to list, right? If you look at interest rates, if you look all the way across, right? Jamie brought it out even more importantly is that the inventory is so low and non-existent. So if I list my home now, I don't have zero competition, which means to a point I can create my market. Now, granted, I can only do that to a certain amount, and that takes professional counsel around that, right? And that's what we are, we're professionals. So create that list. Make sure you have a pre-listing packet. It will save so much time on your listing presentations. Okay, military, union, essential workers and companies. Do we have a list of what's essential and not essential? Are we taking that list? You can go to, I mean, Deb, we got Deb on here, right? We can look and see what essential workers and companies are out there right now and then target them. They're working, they're not just working, they're working triple and overtime and triple overtime. Which means they could be in a position to buy or list, right? They're not behind on their mortgage realistically. So come up with a list around that. Military is always moving, always, always. So are we targeting, if it's not here in Denver or in Colorado Springs, what bases are we targeting and do we know the migration patterns that are going on? Bank and lender relationships. Do we have relationships with banks, credit unions, and mortgage-specific lenders? The reason I mention that is because they have different criteria, right? Do we have relationships in each? One of the most powerful relationships I had when we were in production was I still have an awesome buddy of mine who worked for a credit union, Alaska USA, up in obviously Anchorage. We put 18 deals together. 18. I didn't have that database. That was Scott's. But because I was his go-to, we made that happen. And because I understood the federal credit union, I understood there were certain things that could be offered in a credit union that a bank could not compete with, as well as a mortgage-specific lender, right? Love Movement Mortgage, not saying anything negative at all. Just have your options because that's part of your value proposition. That also can let someone know when they're going to list how they're going to be able to buy the next property, right? Could it be a hard money lender if they're short on cash, but they're okay with a short-term high interest rate if they can pay that off? So have different options there. Holly, that's right. It's a great time for CE and certifications. Yeah, not out in the public. Just don't get caught up in it. That's one thing I would say. Is because otherwise we get caught up in the education and not into the activity, right? So here's another one for you. Commercial broker relationships. Goodness gracious, if we're not tying into this market right now, we're missing big time. Businesses are accelerating, decelerating, buying, merging, or selling. Are we reaching out to commercial brokers? We have Barry Bounds in our office here. Do you have other commercial brokers in your pocket? And know that there's differences with commercial. What specific area of commercial do they target and do they specialize in? It could be multifamily. Yeah, Robin.
We still have the commercial department because
Yep,
I wasn't sure about that.
we do. So Barry's very much still, he just works from home. So, reach out to Barry, find out who he knows. a great contact for you, and I don't have her information on me at this moment, but you can Google her and look her up. Seems to know everyone in the commercial world in Denver. She's who I lean on, and that's Cinnamon Trimmer. Those who know Cinnamon, I see you nodding already, right? She knows Denver. So she would be a fantastic person, and we have a great relation with her in our office. So just let her know, hey, I'm with KW Executives. I want to pick your brain on the commercial market right now. What are you seeing? She will tell you volumes of things.
What's her last name?
Trimmer. You can find her on my Facebook page too, if you want to direct message her there. Okay, we talked about attorneys already. Remodeling stores, home decor. What are they seeing trends with? Is it kitchen remodels? Why are there kitchen remodels? Are they remodeling because they're looking to sell? Do they understand the difference between remodeling costs and what they could make in the market with low inventory? Maybe they don't have to remodel, but no one has slowed them down to have that conversation. So form relationships with store owners and specialists who work in the store. If they're in sales, we're all in sales, right? They're gonna talk to you about this information. We just have to come up with the questions to ask, which are really simple. How's it going? What have you noticed? Yeah, Adriana.
Quick question for you. Where or how should I contact the kitchen model people?
So in your market, it may be a little bit different, but is there a specialized store that has home decor? Maybe they sell furniture, right? Furniture stores too are fantastic for this.
Okay.
So it could be something as corporate as a Home Depot and getting to know the sales department in the remodeling section, right?
I was thinking to contact people in Denver, to start building my pipeline is what I mean.
Sure, so then I would Google remodeling stores in Denver and go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. For sale by owner and expires, we gotta go here for a second. The #1 time for expired listings is coming up right now. Are we gonna wait for it or be proactive around it? Right?
How are you proactive around a listing that has not expired yet?
If it's no sign crossing, right?
Yeah.
So if we're focused in on expireds, true expireds, look and see what expireds happened in 2020 and 2019. Why did they not go back? If they're expired in 2019, why did they not go back on the market in 2020? What happened in their life, right? Maybe that fear overwhelmed them and they thought, gosh, no one sells.
Old expireds.
Yeah, or goes 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 24 months, right? Go until you get the appointment. If they're not hitting the market right now and selling, there's something that happened. We can make up our own stories or we can go to the source and ask, right? Simple script. I specialize in selling homes the second time. May I explain? For sale by owners, they are screaming right now. The #1 ways, the top 2 ways to sell a home and for sale by owners is an open house and social media. They still think it's Craigslist, gang. You can't do open houses and they don't know how to do the message on social media. That's an incredible resource for you right now. The key around all of it when you're meeting with a for sale by owner or an expired is to go in with empathy. What happened? Tell me more, right? I'm going to keep plugging them for questions. If you were able to sell your home, what would it do for you? What would it do for your family? What were your plans that you had to put on hold and why were those plans important? This is someone's life, right? They had plans. It's a big deal. And they're screaming at you with both arms open. Literally like this. They just know that they don't know they are. Database care calls. Please, please, please do your care calls. Database care calls are so important, especially right now, because it's the second wave of this coming along. Emotions are on high. So because we talk to them in the spring does not mean we don't talk to them now. Right? Hey, how was the summer? How was the year? Oh my gosh, I know it's craziness out there, isn't it? Become the beacon of light for them. Well, did you know that the market's still on fire right now? And actually, homes are selling in 0% above asking price, whatever that looks like. If you could sell your home today that you didn't think you could sell, what would that do for you and your family, and why? It seems like the same question, yet it's a different medium, right? Maybe it's even a different audience. The next thing, holiday events. These are fantastic right now. Creativity is, we're seeing all kinds of things. I mean, Deb, we just got out of masterminds, right? You're seeing all kinds of things going on right now, regardless if we're in an office or not in an office. So with holiday events, you know, host them online or through social distancing, right? Happy hours that are online, you know, doing and be careful with this. And I just wrote this down. So just, it's not as much as my own loan program that Jamie loves. And, you know, maybe it's called something along the lines of Shed the Holidays. SHED, Shed the Holidays, right? We all know Thanksgiving comes around. We may not be as mobile as we were before. There's lots of great meals out there and tons of treats, right? So shedding the holidays would be maybe you form a Facebook group around that. Go personal with these guys. Don't be afraid to do what Nikki Klein talked about 3 weeks ago. Not everything is real estate. Form groups that actually matter and that you would be passionate about. Maybe it's a, 25 push-ups a day challenge, something like that, right? Post online, print pop buys for database, and even for pies for Thanksgiving or Christmas. We talk about pies for Thanksgiving. If Thanksgiving is not in the cards on doing something like that, then look at Christmas. Look at in between. There's holiday parties that are going on all over the place, even if they're just the family. So be that person. What about this? If you were to give someone a 2021 planner and then put your information on every single month of the planner. Hey, I just want to let you know, here's a planner for the year of 2021. I was thinking about you and your business. I know with all the craziness and things being unstructured in 2020, let's hit the ground running in 2021 with a plan. Oh, by the way, my information just happens to be in the upper right-hand corner in the event that blah, 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 right? That could be a great point. The key around that is following up on these, right? Not just dropping off and then showing back up in a year. A winner list of services. So a winner list of services of who to call when X happens. Is that a handyman, a roofer, a plumber, an auto mechanic? Who are your go-to people specific to the season? Could be snow removal, could be ice melt, right? A really cool thing to do is that in the event that, we live in Colorado, it's gonna snow, it's gonna get colder, right? I know it's 70 degrees out there right now. I'm confused. I wish I had shorts and flip-flops on. And we know that it's gonna get colder. So if we know that cold snap is coming because everything flows off the Rockies, it seems like here, then what would it look like if I went to a Home Depot or to an Ace Hardware and bought a bunch of little ice melts? Put it at the end of the driveway, shoot them a quick text and say, hey, I was thinking about you and your family, and I don't want to see you fall on your butt this year. So here's some ice melt for you. Let me know if there's any of the neighbors that I can help. Do you have an elderly neighbor that lives by themselves? I don't want him or her to fall. Right? Because we know what's going on in the assisted living situation right now. So let's take care of them. And if they don't sell the little baggies, then you go create them, right? Something fun and cute. Or it doesn't even matter. It could be a Ziploc bag with it, just something that has your information in it and a quick note to the seller or the homeowner that says you care. Door-to-door sales. Ladies and gentlemen, Sensi, Mary Kay, Cabby, and name your product or service, they are in some pain this year. Yet here's the interesting part about it. When they do, which they still are doing Cabby parties, by the way, It's just now they're social distancing with masks on. They have very intimate conversations. Wine sales. Who does door-to-door wine sales? Right now, they're more likely to order that than to go into the liquor store and buy some wine for the holidays because they don't have to go into a store, right? They don't want to go to Park Meadows Mall. One, because it's probably not open. Two, because it's in an area that you can't control. So if I'm more likely to go door to door on those pieces, like Cabby, who do we know and what kinds of conversations are they having with the homeowners? Relationships. Self-care. Self-care is a huge one right now, right? Hair salons, nail salons, men's warehouse, things like that, right? Where are they going? Maybe they're going to Amazon. Maybe they're going to Stitch Fix. I don't know. Let's ask them. The key around, even though like a massage, right? What if you were to put out a little blurb on the local massage therapist, one, to check in on them, see if, are they essential, are they not? What is their business looking like? I know some are down, some are, Debbie's going no, right? So what are they going to do for income? If they got to shut down the salon, they're going to figure out a way to make money, right? Which could mean now they got a portable table and they go in people's homes and they mask up and they glove up and they go in there. So do you have something that you could give to them as part of a package? Would you like to have a relaxing home sale, home purchase experience? Call blah, 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 right? Tie into what's going on. Let's see here. Social and healthcare facilities, right? Would be another one. Social media, targeted campaigns, stories. Tell your story. It doesn't have to be about real estate. I'm sure, most of us on this call and probably all of us have seen our, even my personally, KW, right? Posts going on right now because KW is making a big push. What you notice about that though, is I will have posts all around that KW push so it doesn't look like I'm just doing a marketing platform because my audience doesn't care about that. Oops, said it, right? They're like, that doesn't sound like you. So put things around it or find ways to do campaigns and messages that actually matter and highlight who you are. Holiday events. And that could be, actually, let's hold on for a second. That could also tie into masterminds and fun events too, right? William mentioned something the other day at team meeting, yesterday at team meeting, which huge kudos and thank you all for being on team meeting. And about being Santa Claus. Have some fun, right? When you look at Cody Gibson's, what he's done this past year online, do you know the number one thing that he's had all year long was the dance party with his kids? Forget about the 15 listings in 30 days. It was the dance party. Why do you think that was so important? Because he gave the parents somewhere to put the kids for 15 to 30 minutes, right? The parents got a break. And his feed blew up from that. So what can we do that's a fun event? Have some fun. What if you did coloring, like a little coloring contest for the kids? Did something that's right there. Debbie, fantastic. Yes, yes, and yes. Please go to the chat and look at what Debbie just put in there around build your story brand. 100%. Great one. All right. Holiday events. What if it's your favorite neighborhood Christmas lights contest? What if it's a Christmas tree contest? A New Year's Eve giveaway to raving fans, right? It doesn't have to be go to Mexico. If we know that's not possible, then don't do it. But do something that would make sense for your database that reflects you. All of these tie into top of mind, which ties into taking more and more listings, increasing your business exponentially when the market is flipped upside down. Maybe it's a New Year's gift of your favorite business book to a cross-sell agent that you loved working with, that you have either a great friendship with, they did an awesome job in 2020, maybe you got to go back to 2019, but what would be something that could really give them some power, right? Maybe it's the Build Your Story brand. Maybe it's Never Split the Difference. Maybe it's Atomic Habits. Maybe it's Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. All depends on the other agent, right? But that's a really cool way. And I'm not saying you tie that in with, if you come to KW, no, don't go there. Just do it out of being gracious and showing gratitude. No returns, no expected returns on this. The key around it is you say, what did you think about? Yeah, book club for your clients. Absolutely. And then here's the key question. What'd you think about chapter 1? Right? There's no fancy script. But what you're doing is pouring into them and they're going to share because the walls are down. So that's one opportunity. Here's another one as we got 3 minutes left. So create a series. What if you were to create a home seller seminar series, right? Which means 3. So some ideas. Yep, virtual book club, love that as well. Here's some ideas. First-time sellers, right? Here's a series based on first-time sellers, a series based on investors, a generational series, right? Luxury, white gloves. You live in a luxury, I mean, we are in a luxury market by definition. And if you go 10, 12 minutes up Highlands Ranch, you're in an absolute luxury market, right? If you go out towards the mountains, you're in a luxury market. If you go out to Castle Pines, luxury market. The Pinery, luxury market. So what does your white glove service look like? So that could be a series on how to create that, how to get your home staged for white glove, like white glove staging, right? Something along those lines. Selling in today's market. Maybe it's something that says meet the team. So they don't feel that you're just a lone wolf. Even as a single agent, you have an entire team behind you. Are we sharing that? Is that part of your pre-listing packet? So maybe take 3 out of that list, and I just gave you, and you can run on this one, right? Because the whole point of this is to create thought. So maybe it is, moving from state to state, a series on moving from state to state. Tie it in with what's personally going on in your life, and you'll be passionate about it. But take 3 topics and create a series out of that, and put that out there to our database. And you can use Facebook Live, you can use Zoom, you can do many different things around this. I know we have 1 minute left. For those who have to jump off, no problem. If we want to stay on the call a little bit longer, I'll stay on for another 10 minutes. What are some thoughts? What's going on? What are some thoughts you're having? Is it spurring on things? Are you like, Patrick, you're crazy? Like, let me know. I'm good either way. Jump on in, gang. Take yourself off of mute. Let's share. Mark, we have you in Star Trek or something going on.
We're usually in different rooms, but we are in the same room today. I tried to get 4 or 5 things. I thought the credit union idea, I mean, I've got mortgage people, but the credit union, I've got some credit union contacts. I got some banking contacts. Try to explore that. The database, I'm kind of doing that one. The pie thing was good last year. I thought it really brought us some good synergy with, thank yous for current clients, but as important as clients that you're pursuing right now. So we got to re-energize that one, in my opinion. Out-of-state referrals, I thought was good as well. Don't have enough business there. I'd like to get some more. That's off the top of my head.
I love it, Mark. I love it. That's great. What's another one?
I'm really going back into doing the care calls, because everybody's in this crazy situation, and especially with the holidays coming up and people having plans change and not being with family and whatever, it's tough on people. And I think it's the easiest way to find out what's going on in people's lives is to just ask them how they are, and no further. It has nothing to do with business. It can evolve there. I mean, I got a couple pieces of business out of care calls from the spring and early summer. So just finding out what people need, where they are in their lives and their businesses and personally and their family. And it's just huge to keep those connections.
Couldn't agree more. Andrea.
I was just gonna say, I was the ideas about like shed the holiday pounds and the dance parties in the book club, like those are things that like I probably will have to, I want to do in my life anyway. So to figure out how to include people in an authentic way, I think that'll open up a lot of opportunities just to have conversations with people.
Love that. Do things you're passionate about. Yeah, Robin.
I did join the neighborhood book club. There's about 15 ladies in it, and it's so much fun. And it's just, but it's developing those relationships that over a period of time, I know that will come back to me in some way. But I'm enjoying that. And I also joined a networking group, and we're doing a lot of one-on-one calls because I think at least what I'm learning is that people want to know you and know what you stand for as a human being more than they want to know about your business. And so that's, I'm setting up calls 2 or 3 times a week with one-on-one with different groups. And I'm putting together that list of things that my clients can use if they need it. So I got a lot from what you said. I couldn't write fast enough.
Excellent. Excellent. Great, great. What's another one? That's great, Robin. Thank you. Doug, what'd you pull out of it, my friend? Give me the coach's perspective.
Well, there's a fire hose of information. So it's a couple of these things I'm doing already. I'm still trying to work through and figure out, the big challenge for the seller is, am I going to be able to find my replacement home?
Mhm.
And so that's a huge hurdle. I don't know if you got any, great input you want to give us, even how to, do that. I've got some buyers that are the golden possible buyers you could have. They have $1.5 million in the bank. They were just looking to buy a $600,000 house, and the winning bid was 10% over the sales price, $65,000. And she was just so rocked by that because we weren't finding, inventory for her to look at. Finally had one. Thought we had the second highest offer out of the 10 that came through. So she's like, who are these people and where are they coming up with this money to take that kind of a hit financially on a piece of property? That really hinders the seller of, how am I going to find my replacement home? If I do put mine on the market and get under contract and I've got to move then at some point. It's a huge roadblock.
A frame of thought around this is, taking something that was from, well, really this is from Bold. And years ago with Sean Kokoska, and it was creating your own inventory, right? So if I have a seller that we can't find anything at all out there, then I may do something along the lines now with respect to social distancing and how that looks, but something along the lines where I'm now targeting a specific neighborhood. If you could sell your home, would you be interested in selling? I know your home's not on the market, but if you got exactly what you wanted for it, what would that number be? Now you could actually double end the sale, by the way, which is another strategic way to nail your cap. But more importantly than that is you're creating your own inventory, and it doesn't have to be something really complicated. If you look at kind of the script on how it was just literally a piece of paper with an outline of a person like a shadow, and it said, here's Jim. Jim is pre-qualified, ready to go for X amount. We're ready to buy in your neighborhood right now. If you're not interested in selling, who do you know that could be interested in selling? Now, I get it. If those are in neighborhoods where we're talking about 5-acre lots and different things like that, it creates a little bit more challenges. But the reality is, in our market that we have, there's a lot of homes condensed in neighborhoods, right? So if I was to walk around, I'd pick a Saturday late morning when people are out. And those would be the questions that I would ask, and I would canvass the neighborhood with social distancing.
Yeah, we've gone in and done some of that and for another client. And we've had a few neighbors complain, why are you doing door knocking in this COVID environment? We've even had to switch off the door knocking to just hanging flyers. And again, we're not getting response yet. So it doesn't mean we won't, but that's still the same challenge for that person sitting there going, well, if I sell my house, where am I moving to?
Right. So you could even create I'm going to be careful on how I say this. I see Debbie's not on the line, so I might be kind of safe, yet we're recorded. What would it look like if you had a pocket listing list? Those who could be interested in selling if they got the right offer. I know right now isn't the time that we're selling, and the reason that we're doing this, by the way, is because of the fact that there is no inventory out there. So, oh my gosh, what a gift to your neighbor or to a family member who you know that could be interested in selling. 1 through 10, if you were going to sell, is it a 1, never, ever, ever? Is it a 10, sell yesterday? And what would be that magic price point that would cause you to entertain an offer? Here's the reason I'm asking. We have a family that's over here that's moving into our area and they don't have a place to call home. We have a family that's putting their home on the market and they don't have anywhere to go. Take the empathy road to this, and then that will be what gets us out of the COVID conversation. Because it doesn't feel like we're sharking anymore, right? Like, let's just be real for a second. When they see us in the neighborhood and we're canvassing and we're handing out our cards and we're going like this, right? What do they think? They think we're in it for the money. It must be blood in the water. The sharks are coming in, right?
Yep.
So own that perception and then take the other route of empathy. I'm sure you're feeling like this, this, and this. And it's feel, felt, found. You know, others have feel the same way as well. What they felt was this, right? Or feel, found. Is it feel, felt, found, feel? It's those combinations, but it's others have felt this before. What now they've found is that by feeling this, blah, 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 blah. So now you're taking them as an example into this, and you're also controlling the conversation, right? It's not the activity, it's how we perform the activity.
One more idea around that kind of negative connotation with door knocking right now. What about a handwritten letter versus door knocking?
Sure, you could do that. I would find a way to follow up on it though. You know, here's the deal with door knocking and with farming in general. It's an 18-month on average experience, right? So yes, in Doug's case, if we have someone who's ready to go right now, or in Brooksy, you may have that too, right? Someone's ready to go right now, but the inventory isn't there. Everyone on this call may have that. It's all in the message that we do it and the follow-up system that we have around it, right? If we can somehow have a conversation, it will create massive ground. Whether we send them a live page that shows the data right out of command, right? A landing page, whether we do this, whether we that, it's all on basing that first connection. I can tell you that we have agents that farm our neighborhood. What's interesting, they don't pick up their phone when you call them. Yet they're great with their glossy little postcards that end up in my circular file cabinet. So how do we keep from being that? The key around that is I've never once seen that agent or someone on that team ever in the neighborhood. I've only received it in the mail. So it's creating items of value, right? And creating authentic conversations around the items of value. I know we're out of time here for today. If you do have more questions about this is being recorded, so you can go back later. My notes were in the chat, so feel free to download those. The key around today is not to blast you with all this different information. It's to spur on thought and action around being authentic and what is going to work for you. So know that the opportunity is there. And the beautiful thing about this year is that it's an even playing field all the way across. So whether it's someone who has all the experience in the world or someone who's brand new, it's an even playing field. So go out there and make an impact and change lives. And if you have additional questions, reach out to me, reach out to Deb. We're here to back you up. All right. Have an awesome weekend. Thank you for spending time with me today. I appreciate you guys. We'll see ya.
Thanks, Patrick.
You're welcome.